Hey there, history enthusiasts! Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving headfirst into one of the most audacious and captivating heists of all time, the Great Train Robbery of 1963. Strap in as we journey through the details, the masterminds, the trial, and the lasting impact of this legendary event that continues to intrigue and fascinate us to this day. So, grab your popcorn, because this is a story you won't want to miss. The early 1960s in Britain were characterized by a mix of social, cultural, and economic changes. The aftermath of World War II had seen the country rebuilding itself, but by the early 60s, the once enthusiastic post-war optimism had started to wane. The socio-economic landscape was marked by contrasts, as Britain grappled with both advancements and challenges. Economically, the early 60s were a period of transition. While the country was experiencing relative prosperity and the emergence of a consumer culture, there were disparities in wealth distribution. The working class still faced financial struggles, and there was a growing awareness of the gaps between the haves and the have-nots. This economic disparity and a sense of disenchantment with the establishment played a role in fostering an anti-authoritarian sentiment among certain segments of the population. The Great Train Robbery of 1963 had a cast of characters that would come to be known both for their audacious crime and their mythic status within popular culture. The mastermind behind the heist, Bruce Reynolds, was a charismatic figure who brought together a group of skilled criminals for the audacious plan. Reynolds was no stranger to the world of crime. He had a history of robberies and a reputation for his organizational skills. Perhaps the most infamous member of the gang, Ronnie Biggs, became a household name due to his role in the robbery and his subsequent escape and life on the run. Biggs played a crucial role in the heist and was responsible for finding the hideout used by the gang after the robbery. His decision to flee the country and evade capture added a layer of intrigue to the already sensational story. Another significant figure was Charlie Wilson, a skilled and daring criminal who specialized in breaking into secure locations. Wilson's expertise in this area was instrumental in accessing the train's cargo. The convergence of these individuals, each with their own criminal expertise and motivations, created a potent combination that would result in one of the most audacious and talked about crimes in history. The success of the Great Train Robbery hinged on the meticulous planning that went into every aspect of the operation. The gang, led by Bruce Reynolds, spent months analyzing potential targets before settling on the Royal Mail train as their prize. The train was known to carry vast amounts of cash and valuables, making it an attractive choice. The location chosen for the heist was a remote area near Bridego Bridge, Buckinghamshire, where the train's path was obstructed by a railway signal. On the night of August 8, 1963, the gang sprang into action. Their plan was to use a fake signal to halt the train, thereby giving them the time needed to carry out the heist. Armed with this knowledge, the robbers gathered near the bridge and awaited the arrival of the Royal Mail train. As the train approached, the gang activated the fake signal, causing the train to come to a halt. The daring nature of the operation was evident as the robbers swiftly moved to overpower the train's crew. They used a replica signal light to stop the train. Once the train was immobilized, the gang used brute force and threats to subdue the crew, ensuring that the heist could proceed without interruption. Gaining access to the high-value mail bags was another challenge that the robbers had prepared for. They used cunning tools to break into the carriage containing the valuables. Despite the careful planning, the night of the robbery was not without its unexpected challenges. One of the most notable setbacks was the train's unexpected delay, causing the operation to run behind schedule. This delay heightened the risk of discovery and increased the pressure on the gang to complete the heist swiftly. Moreover, the gang's initial intention was to overpower the train's driver and coerce him into cooperating. However, when they encountered the driver, Jack Mills, he resisted their attempts, resulting in a violent struggle. Mills was ultimately struck on the head, which would later have severe consequences for him and impact the investigation. Despite these challenges, the robbers managed to adapt on the spot. They swiftly regrouped, focused on their objectives, and maintained control of the situation. The successful execution of the Great Train Robbery extended beyond the heist itself. The gang's meticulous planning encompassed their escape strategy as well. After securing their ill-gotten gains, the robbers dispersed in an attempt to evade capture. The use of a farm hideout played a pivotal role in this phase of their operation. Following the robbery, the gang fled to a secluded farm known as Leatherslade Farm in Buckinghamshire. This farm served as their hideout, providing them with a relatively safe haven where they could regroup, lay low, and divide the spoils. To further confound any pursuit, the robbers employed a cunning strategy involving multiple vehicles. The gang members left the farm in different groups and drove separate vehicles in various directions. This tactic was designed to confuse the authorities and make it difficult to track their movements. By splitting up and adopting different routes, the robbers aimed to create a web of confusion that would hinder the police response. Additionally, the gang initiated diversions to occupy law enforcement's attention. False leads and rumors were intentionally planted to misdirect the police, causing them to focus on decoy locations and potential escape routes that were not being utilized by the gang. The Great Train Robbery of 1963 was not only audacious in its execution, but also in its haul. The gang managed to make off with a staggering £2.6 million in cash and valuables, a sum that was unprecedented at the time. In today's terms, the stolen £2.6 million would be worth an estimated £54 million or more, depending on the method of calculation and the chosen index. The legal proceedings that followed the arrest of the captured robbers and their accomplices added another layer of intrigue to the Great Train Robbery saga. The gang members were arrested and charged with various crimes, including robbery, assault, and conspiracy. The trial began in January 1964 at Aylesbury Crown Court and would become one of the most sensational criminal trials of the era. Bruce Reynolds, the leader of the raiders and the last of the robbers to be caught, was released from prison on June 6, 1978 after serving 10 years. In 1983, Reynolds was arrested for drug-related crimes, was released in March 1985 and devoted himself to caring for his wife, who had experienced a mental disorder. Ronnie Biggs, the most famous of the participants in the robbery, received a 30-year sentence, served 15 months before escaping. He fled to Paris, where he acquired new identity documents and underwent plastic surgery. In 1970, he moved to Adelaide, where he worked as a builder. When there was interest in him from Interpol, he moved to Melbourne, where he worked as a typesetter, and later fled to Rio de Janeiro, after the Melbourne police found out his address. Biggs could not be extradited because there was no extradition treaty between the UK and Brazil, and in addition, he became the father of a Brazilian son, who granted him legal immunity. As a result, he lived openly in Rio for many years, safe from the British authorities. In May 2001, at the age of 71, Biggs voluntarily returned to England. Admitting that he might be arrested, he said that he would like to go to the pub and, like an Englishman, buy a pint of bitter beer. And there you have it, the riveting tale of the Great Train Robbery of 1963. From meticulous planning to daring execution, this story continues to captivate. Remember, it's not just about the theft itself, but also the complexities of justice and human drama. Thanks for joining us on this journey through history. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay curious for more captivating stories.